I'm here to talk to you about the Buzzword readathon that Kayla from Books and Lala has put together. It is a really relaxed readathon where there is just one prompt a month for the year, and you just have to read one book that fulfills that prompt each month, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. This is the list of prompts for the year, and this is going to be a vlog about my January pick. The way that I'm going to interpret this readathon is I'm going to use it to try and read books that I wouldn't normally pick up. So for each word as a prompt, I am going to go to my local library and I'm going to scan all the titles on the shelves. I'm not going to use the search function and request books unless I cannot find anything on the shelf. And I'm going to find a book that fits that prompt. Doesn't matter what the genre is, doesn't matter what age group it's for. I am going to pick it up and I'm going to try and read it, and I'm going to see if I find any books that I like, because I'm aware that I am lovely and comfortable in my little corner of the bookish internet, and I think this is a good way of dipping a toe outside of my comfort zone a little bit. So the prompt for January is there. So any one of the theirs has to be featured in the title. Let's go down to the library and see what I can find. Okay, so it was a lot harder to find their books than I thought. I literally looked at every single shelf of the library and I found 3, the ones I showed you, and they were all in the crime section. I think they were all like 2 shelves apart from each other. Literally no other books that I looked at had any of those words in the title. I don't know, that just seems really odd to me. Like, those are really common words, why aren't they in titles? I think I was expecting to find there in the crime section, just because of the nature of crime titles and the fact that they usually refer to people that have been killed in some respect, or like the belongings of someone that has been killed or anything like that. But the book that I decided on in the end, the one that I thought that I was most likely to enjoy, was this one here, The Dead in Their Vaulted Arches. I picked this one because, well, one, the cover's really cool. Like, it's got this cool like tomb situation, which is unlike any other like crime book cover I've seen recently, and I really enjoyed that. It's a hardback. I'm aware that it's in a series of mysteries because it's the Flavia de Luce mysteries. I don't know if you can read these out of order, but I'm going to. So I hope that doesn't impede the reading experience. The other 2 books didn't quite look like the kind of thing I would enjoy. So this is my best shot for the Buzzword pick. I'm excited. I do like crime. I do like mysteries. And oh, the font is quite big as well, so it's not going to be that long of a read. The blurb says, the presumed death of Harriet de Luce in a mysterious mountaineering accident in Tibet while Flavia was only a baby cast a sombre shadow over the family, leaving Colonel de Luce a broken man and Flavia herself with no memories of her mother. Now, astonishingly, a special commission train is bringing Harriet back to Buckshaw, but rather than putting the past finally to rest, Harriet's return is set to trigger a further series of bizarre and deadly events as a most curious group of individuals converge on Buckshaw to pay their respects. For Flavia, a gruesome new crime to solve is only one of the mysteries confronting her as she begins to unravel the shocking revelations of Harriet's past, and in doing so discovers an extraordinary tale of espionage and betrayal that also seems to be the key to her own destiny. So it sounds like a sort of dual plotline situation, which I enjoy because they're like fast paced, they keep me on my toes, and I'm excited. I like digging through family history. I like it when it's set in like a noble situation. Oh no, someone's fucked up the page here. I'm intrigued. I will keep you updated as to how I feel about this book. Okay, so I have some initial thoughts, having read 14 pages of this book. This is number 6 in the series, and while I'm not completely lost, I'm a little bit lost because this book does assume that you know who Flavia is and her family, and I feel like they're referencing past events already that I'm not aware of because I haven't read the first 5 books. Also, I think we're post World War II, but I don't know if we've hit like 50s and 60s yet. I'm really trying to work out when this is set because it's quite confusing. These are clearly very rich people because they have been waiting for their mother's dead body to arrive via train in her coffin. And Winston Churchill has come to sort of meet them and pass on his respects. So, yeah, it's just a bit weird. I'm confused. I'm running with it. I don't hate it. It's not written poorly. I'm just trying to get my bearings at the moment because I have kind of shot myself in the foot by picking up the 6th book in the series. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, we have confirmation. This takes place 6 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so we are in 1951. I still don't know how old she is, but her family have got some absolutely bonkers names. Her father's called Haviland. We've got Uncle Tarquin. Her sister's called Feely. She's got another one called Daffy. They're very much in the era of like giving people nicknames. Pretty sure I was told the full names of the sisters, and I've forgotten already, but I know where we are in time now, and I'm better for it. Apparently 6 pages is an appropriate amount of time to spend on explaining how to develop photographs. I don't care about chemical compounds and ghoul flies. I didn't need 6 pages for you to explain how to develop photographs. I don't care if it's a clue or not. 8 pages. Not 6. 8. So I think she's quite young. I still haven't worked out how old she is. I'm like 50 pages in now. And she's the youngest of the 3 sisters. Her mum died when she was 1. They've just got the body back. Her dad was in a prisoner of war camp in Japan for half the war, however long that is. And she's got a cook that doesn't like her very much. And they're doing a lot of reminiscing. And I'm not hugely interested at the moment. I don't want to DNF this book. I'm going to give it to 100 pages and we'll see how we get on. So from what I can gather, this book is mostly Flavia farting about because she has nothing better to do, poking her nose in other people's business, and chatting a lot about chemistry. There's an awful lot of chemistry detail in this book that I didn't sign up for. There's a lot of old-fashioned British slang in here, and not a lot of anything else. None of these characters are particularly appealing. The writing's pretty simple and fine, just sort of dotted here and there with unnecessary statements and things that people wouldn't say in real life. I'm confused about who this is written for because Flavia's coming off as quite young. I know she's the youngest of the sisters, but I've got no frame of reference as to how old her sisters are either. And she's coming off quite a lot as the sort of, like, I would picture as maybe 15, in which case this sort of book to me would be peddled as YA, but I don't think it is. I thought this was an adult book, like it's crime. I don't know, I'm confused. I'm not giving up yet, but I am confused. Also, they witnessed like a horrible accident / almost definite murder in the first scene, and they have yet to address that in any way. She's doing chemical experiments on her mother's corpse now. I'm not really sure why. So she's 100% like a teenager. She gets escorted to bed by adults and has to like write dopey sick notes, pretending she's ill to get out of things. I'm not loving this book. Halfway through the book, and we finally got to the man that was pushed in front of a train, like 6 pages in. Because up until now, it's been the return of her mother's body, moping over her mother's body, deciding that she might have been murdered and therefore should conduct chemical experiments on her mother's body without anyone else knowing. And now we're getting to the bit where, you know, the actual murder may have occurred halfway through this book. She's trying to bring her mother back from the dead. I'm confused. I'm hoping that's a figure of speech. It's not a figure of speech. She's trying to resurrect her mother. What the fuck is this book? What is this book? Apparently, we're not resurrecting her mother now because the Home Office has shown up and everyone under the sun keeps interrupting her. In a twist that shocks nobody, her mother was a spy. I'm at the point in the book where I'm really not sure what's going on or why we're being told things, and frankly, I'm ready for it to be over. 90 pages to go. This book does not need to be this long. This book is like hideously patriotic in the way that shows like NCIS and CSI are like weirdly patriotic. I shit you not. We just had a moment where the clouds parted and a shaft of light came down from the sky to rest on the Union Jack. I want to bath. Finished it. All done. All finished. I am deeply unimpressed by this particular book. I guessed who the villain was from the start. She spends most of her time nattering about chemistry, which I gather is like her thing, her like personality trait that differs her from other protagonists. Her family weren't that interesting. The setting wasn't that interesting. It was altogether just predictable and quite simple, and I think it's safe to say I will not be reading any more from this series. This book is written so simply. I think middle grade would almost be an acceptable like category for it. Like this can't be adult, surely. It's just so simple and so basic. We were given all of the components in the first chapter of the story, and then how we get to the end and the denouement is just nonsense and doesn't make any sense. The steps don't follow on from each other. The decisions that she makes are flighty and ridiculous and incredibly childish. She is 100% a child. Obviously, there is some background and some context to this series that I am not aware of because I haven't read the first 5 books. There is a character that's referenced and some plots from other books that are referenced. I'm just super not impressed. This isn't a period of history I'm particularly interested in because it's post-World Wars, and a big component of this mystery was like undercover operations in Japan, including Flavia having a completely obnoxious cousin, like younger cousin, who comes to visit, who is I think half Singaporean, and I'm just not super comfortable with the way that anyone who is not white in this book is painted as like not a nice person, not a good person. Like I realise it's from a period heavily shadowed by the World Wars. But that cousin wasn't in the World Wars. Her mum was a bad person. She didn't need to be a bad person. She didn't need to be the obnoxious brat that she was. And I think that was a choice that I didn't agree with. I'm just not blown away. I'm very surprised this is an award-winning series, but this does strike me as the sort of book that you might find in sort of run-of-the-mill book clubs. Maybe because it's so bland, it's likely to appeal to a wider variety of people. Maybe. I don't know. Not super impressed with it, but there you go. That was my first Buzzword book for the year. I'm learning things about myself. I now know that's war things. 100% not my bag. We'll be avoiding that in future if we can. Hey ho.